Hello, hello, it's Patty Jo. They blew by this thing while I was dealing with something, and I will go through those little pieces as we watch because this chick obviously got what she deserved. She I wish this was always the case, but I'm going to say a couple things before we get started. I've only got an 8-minute video clip. I haven't watched any of this because I have been dealing with something. My son is involved with, has been involved with a gaslighting, narcissistic, pathological liar. He is in court today defending himself against some time where she actually did stab him with a wire hanger. They dropped her case and they're going after him because, you know, it's always the dude. But here's a case where it's not. And I think one thing that we have really missed is the family of this guy. He might not have been a perfect guy. Maybe he drank too much. Maybe he was mean, nasty, loud, drunk. I don't know. Probably. Because people aren't perfect. But what he is the victim of her narcissism and her manipulation and her very obvious attempts at just being in control of everything. What is this? Attorney number 9 who's trying to appease her. I wish I did have time to go through more of this at the beginning of October when all this was going on, but attorneys are super expensive and they're liars too. All right, let's watch.
I see everybody nodding their heads. Okay. All right, State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
I'm going to turn on the CC because I know my sound is trash today.
Your answer?
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes,
All right, members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit and in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the foreperson.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror in seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror in seat number 2, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror in seat number 3, is this your true
Yes,
and
it
correct
is.
verdict? Juror in seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that you put into this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak to anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, members of the jury, again, I thank you for your service. I'm going to ask you return to the deliberation room. I'll be back there shortly with your jury certificates, and thank you.
Go ahead.
Ms. Boone, the jury has spoken in this matter and has found you guilty of murder in the second degree. The court adjudicates you guilty of murder in the second degree. As this is your first felony conviction, you are entitled to a pre-sentencing investigation by the Department of Corrections. Mr. Owens, are you seeking that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. State, I will order the Department of Corrections to prepare the pre-sentencing investigation. State, for the purposes of sentencing, do you anticipate eliciting any testimony from, be it the victim's family?
2 or 3 victim impact statements, sir.
Okay. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay. All right. How long do you think, State, that you would need?
You mean timing-wise, or are we thinking?
A quantum of time, sir. Yeah, well, normally it takes about 30 days or so. I'm confirming with Anita as to availability. I just want to know from your side of the ledger, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes. How much time do you think you're going to need to produce anything from your side of the ledger, sir? Mr. Owens.
I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 to 45.
So if we set this for an hour, that would be sufficient.
Party agreed.
Okay.
State agrees.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay, all right, give me a moment. Ms. Barrios is checking. Just give us a moment. We can set this matter for 1:30 in the afternoon for sentencing on December 2. State, is that acceptable? It's a Monday.
I had a status hearing, but I'll make it work.
I can move it to later if necessary.
I'm co-counsel on it. I can make it work.
Okay. Defense.
Give me 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
That's Monday, December 2 at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
I can be here.
Ma'am, you've been adjudicated guilty. I now remand you into the custody of the Orange.
Okay, if there's something that I think just solidifies the fact that I don't have a TV in my house, I don't own a TV, I don't stream stuff. Occasionally, I'll look up a news report on YouTube because it's all there anyway. Um, but and obviously, I do this kind of thing, really for fun and education. But if there's something in all these years that this woman has been in jail for what she claims was an innocent game of hide and seek, which is the most ridiculous excuse I've ever heard in my whole life. What was absent from all of this, even on the Law and Crime that we're watching now, is her family. Or not her family, his family. Or how about her family? But his family. His family. Look at these people. She stuffed this man in a suitcase and zipped it up and then laughed at him, mocked him, and left him there, and then said, "Oh, it was a game," and expected people to actually believe that. Okay. Her family, his family, his family. Look at those people. He was a person. That's what I'm saying. He might not have been perfect, and maybe he was guilty of this or that or the other thing. I'm going to do a video, and because right now my son's going through it, and he is being railroaded by the state of Maryland. Thank you very much. State of Maryland versus my son. I'm not going to say names because I don't want to get, I'm sure people will dig it up anyway. But this piece of trash that he was with manipulated him for 4 years, got pregnant, lied about other pregnancies. I know she lied because I saw the medical reports. And sweetheart, a miscarriage doesn't happen without that hormone still remaining high. That remains high even after you're pregnant. So you were never pregnant that time that you went to Sinai. Liar. Pathological liar. Got pregnant, told him he would never see his daughter unless he stayed with her. He tried to build a business. He built a really nice little successful business, not with her, but in spite of her attacks and sabotage and craziness and lies and gaslighting and bipolar and all the other crap that she put him through. She cut his clothes up. She ruined everything he ever bought. She would destroy it. And then she would take video of him. There were videos of her from the CCTV that they had, the rings and such, kicking him, hitting him. She was 3 times his size because she's like 300 pounds and he's like 100. So, very similar. This is bringing up a lot of trauma. And she didn't know about those, but she plotted her video and her daughter's taking it. 12 years old. Like, that's appropriate. She has, and she's doing a victim impact statement. I'm going to do a video of my victim impact statement of the 4 years that she stole from my son's life and what she's done to me. Because gaslighting, pathological liar, plotting, his family has been absent from all this.
County Jail pending sentencing on December 2 at 1:30. State, anything else we need to address?
Not from the state.
Defense. All right. Thank you very much. We're off the record.
That's it. And that's it. Nobody bought your junk. Somebody's buying my son's ex-girlfriend's trash. But, okay. So that's where I've been. trying to pay for these lawyers, trying to save my granddaughter from growing up with a gaslighting, narcissistic, lying piece of trash. When she gets her hooks into somebody else, I feel bad for them. All right, but guilty. She wasn't playing hide and seek. She just did something so harmful that it took a person's life. That's what she did. That's what she did. We forget that men can be the victims. But I'm hanging in there. All of you do the same. Thank you for joining. Sorry it's been so long. We'll pick up something else, and maybe I'll do my victim impact. Maybe that'll make me feel better. Thanks a lot.